G'day and welcome back for more Scrapyard Survival. And today I get the fun of trying to make these locomotives look something a bit meaner. Maybe a little bit of Mad Max inspiration going on with their design. I think one of the big things that I want to add first up is a nice big scoop at the front. Some sort of plow style setup at the front, because I think that'll make it look extra mean. And then we'll put a few bits of spikiness, maybe a few spare wheels, bits and pieces, just to make it look a bit meaner, a bit rougher. But before I do that, I do want to make sure that the pair of these two are at least working as best they can. So to do that, I need to fix up the hinge because I've got too many subgrids in there. It's all just a bit of a mess. And potentially replace it with something simpler. There were a few people who suggested replacing it with something a bit more complex, but which could potentially work quite nicely. Though the thing that's holding me off from doing that is the aesthetics of that style of hitch. So the style of hitch I'm talking about there is where you have a hinge on here, connecting basically a bar with a hinge in the middle of it to over here. Then we connect from below this block to over here with another hitch of the same style. And because of the shape of those, they'll end up pushing and pulling in potentially a more effective and stable way. But the downside is it just doesn't look very nice for this particular use. Because this is meant to look like a train, I think I'm going to go for a less functional, more aesthetic design, because that's kind of the whole deal with this train anyway, which is definitely fun and style over function. Because if I was going for function, I would not be using 3x3 wheels. I would be using something much wider. So let's start by straightening these up. Yeah, I guess that works. There were also a number of people who were suggesting that I don't need to have a roll rotor. I disagree. I always find that a roll rotor on my hitch setup aids keeping things more stable because it keeps the wheels better on the ground than not having one. Oh, with that little friction, I can actually move this thing. Interesting. That could make it a lot easier to get this connected up to the hitch when I'm finished building it. Oh, I hate this group now. I hate this block group. It's such a mess with too many blocks in it. We definitely need less, because it's so easy when you flick over to large grid after you've just used small grid, and now I can't change back because I've now got large grid exclusive only blocks and I've got to scroll all the way through to find the small grid ones, and then I can change back. Then I'll accidentally flick over to it again and I'll be stuck doing it again. Alright. Do I need to have more than this? No. I should be able to just go rotor on there, hinge on here for vertical, and then a hinge on here for horizontal. That should work well enough, I think. Hey, there we go. Okay, now the next thing I need to do is get a programmable block on here so that I can run the subgrid wheel control script and see if putting some steering on some of these wheels is going to make this work a bit better. Then, once I've got these two working well, I'll have a rough idea of what I need to do for making any of these cars work well once I get them on board as well. Once I get them connected up. But I'm not going to connect them up initially. I want to style this bit first, and then we'll add cars one at a time, getting the function improved, because I'm going to have to go out and find certain pieces for some of these other bits and for some of these other cars that are going to go on there. Now I need a programmable block, and I've got several over here. Let's grab one of these guys. Now this is going to be important, so I might actually try and stick it inside above the battery that's in front of the helm in there. Or below the battery, I should say. Okay, managed to squeeze that in there. Let's see if I can get this other one welded up. There we go. Slightly awkward way to have to get the programmable block in, but it's in now. It'll definitely improve the access thing. It's kind of annoying. Programmable block. Alright, subgrid wheel control script. There's nothing I need to do. Now, the front wheels on the trailer are turning. But they are turning in a probably unhelpful direction. We might need to invert steering on those. We might turn on steering on these rear ones, but I will set the angles on these quite low. Because what I want this trailer to do is turn, but not turn faster than the front. It still kind of needs to be pulled around by the lead locomotive. Even though what I'm trying to do is make it so it needs to be pulled around a little bit less. I think that's what I want. I was trying to puzzle my way through this before I started recording, and I was like, what do I actually want out of this? What will be helpful steering on the following rail cars for this? Like, do I get some benefits out of steering, or do I just want to pull these things through? So the hope here obviously is that with steering enabled, I can go and grab these wheels and I can increase their friction because they don't need to be pulled through as much by the others, by the lead car. So I might be able to increase this up to, say, 40% without it all going wonky and weird. The other thing that needs to happen is I need to make sure that these wheels are less powerful than the front ones. So power set to, leave them at 60% and I'll put the front ones up to 100%. See if that works. Go for a bit of a drive around my little dry thing here. Now, what is going on with those wheels? Yeah, they seem to be turning okay. Oh, I think I know what I need. I think I know what's wrong. Haha. I need to turn steering off on these ones. I only have the rear ones turn. Because the front ones turning is actually making the hitch do more work, not less. From what it looks like. Basically, what I was seeing as I was pulling was that the front end of the train was kind of ending up pushing the hitch further. Oh! Jeez. The other thing to point out with this setup is that while I've just got 2 cars right now, I'm planning on making this a long train, which means reversing is not going to be an option. I am only going to be able to go forward. So whatever the wheels need to do in forward is all I need to think about. I don't need to think about how they function when I'm reversing, which might make it easier, maybe. I might need some feedback on this one because I'm kind of struggling to figure it out. Well, I haven't rolled it and I've been going between 20 and 30 meters a second. Let's increase the suspension strength a bit. The trailer's pulling through. Whoa, nope. Whoa. Okay. Trying to see what's going wrong here and what I can fix. So yeah, having steering on the trailer does not seem to help anything whatsoever. I think in reality what I need to do is this. Just massively turn down the friction on these lead wheels. The other ones can stay up and they can keep doing work, but these front ones need to drop down because they're the ones that are getting pulled through. And whichever ones get pulled through on any of the following cars that I build, they're the ones that I will also reduce the friction on. What you saw there with that recovery is actually, weirdly, one of the things that I think is a benefit in Space Engineers of having trailers. For some reason, and I don't understand the physics of it, even if that physics is spelled with an F and a Z, it's, for some reason, having lots of trailers actually tends to mean you land on your wheels more than you would think. Although maybe it could be some sort of bias because there are just more wheels to land on so you don't notice when just one car ends up upside down. I'm able to make some decent turns here. I think I'm okay with this. I never anticipated this train being something I could drive at like 40, 50 meters a second safely. But to be able to drive on the flat at 30 meters a second is pretty good, I think. And I'll be honest, driving this at this speed feels fast. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Uh-oh. Okay, I did not end up right way up that time. Alright, time to fix this. How do I get it out? First? Fine, jump out. Let me through. Let me through the wall. Oh dear. I'm very stuck. I think I'm gonna have to get rid of this door. Okay. I'll go get my crane and I'll fix this. But yeah, that's not too bad. One thing I would strongly recommend against anyone doing, if they're thinking of correcting a trailered vehicle like this that's rolled over, don't use a flyer. Using flying things for this, at least in my hands, has always ended horribly. As soon as you have subgrids dangling off that are in weird orientations, I always seem to end up crashed into the ground. So that is why I'm using my crane. Oh, nope. Spinning that the wrong way. I did say this shouldn't be too difficult, but then I've gone and made an absolute meal of it. That should be okay there. Oh, this might not have happened if I had limits set on my rotors and hinges and stuff. Oopsie. Okay, now what I'm going to do this time is not actually lock onto it, but I'm just going to flick the other one over. Sometimes having the fully locked connection like you get with a landing gear isn't exactly ideal. I'm hoping I can do this time. Let's drop this down and get it underneath the rail car, so I can kind of just flick it up. I think I'm gonna have trouble getting this underneath. Oh, this works though. There we go. Done. Righted. Let's go park this thing. Then I'll come back and pick it up. Do so love the collapsing of the crane down without me having any inputs. Just looks fun. Now another walk of shame. Okay, to begin with, let's get rid of this hinge on the front. Let's start working on the scoop. If I start on a scoop plow thing first, then I can start to see which bits of the original design I'm going to enhance and which bits I have to replace to try and make this look the way that I want it to do. Now, some supports for it. Then, I think I'm going to need to make this out of full armor pieces so that I can get any sort of interesting shape. Trying to make it out of something, say, like... That can be tall enough? Maybe I need to go that further. Trying to make it out of something, say, like the plates. Probably won't work. Let's see how this looks, starting this wide. I don't want to get this down too close to the ground, because then it'll become a serious ground clearance problem. But at least get it low enough that it looks interesting. So probably up at this height is where I'll finish it. Because this is quite a long way in front of the first wheels. So the angle of any hill that I can go up is actually pretty shallow. There's a part of me that wants to add another set of wheels up the front here. Add a fourth set on the train. I might well do that. Keep thinking about it. But that is tempting. Okay. Looks pretty... It looks pretty lame from the side. From the front... It just feels weird. Maybe I need some... I think I need some spikes. How could I do spikes on the front? I could probably take out that one, and that one. And then either go straight on with the spikes like this. Oh, actually, yeah, I think that's the way to go. Or what I was going to do alternatively was put one of these blocks in there. I think that sticks it out further. I think this looks heaps better. Now, can I get these underneath as well? I think I might need to lift the whole thing up. Alright, let's try this. As well. Oh yeah. Starting to like this now. That's starting to kind of get the feel I was after. The spikes are what I need to do. Lots of spikes everywhere. But I need to figure out a way to make the scoop go up a bit. I don't think we've got the blocks I need to do what I want. I will add that extra axle as well. I'm going to add an extra one in here. Because looking at this, I'm definitely going to collide with the ground if I don't. And I really, really want this plow on the front. Part of me was tempted to make a subgrid plow so that I can make the plow exactly the shape I wanted. And then I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you trying to make a plow so badly that you'll make a subgrid for it? That is not a good idea. That is not what I should be doing. I will spend so long on that I won't get any of the other bits done, and then I won't get to enjoy any of it. Much better to at least do some of it, and even if it's not the perfect outcome. Let's try this. Okay, yeah, that's getting more of the shape. Yeah. Listen to me being sensible about things. What's the world coming to? Yeah, now I'm happy with this. This is... Yep. Now we need to add some blocks along here, and then I can add some more spiky bits in. Now, what next? I think I might make the front... Oh. I did a dump. I think I might make the front end out of blast door blocks. Grab this yellow. And we'll just go all the way across blast door blocks. Or in fact, I could make them a bit more interesting. Instead, go with, say, just regular blast door blocks across there. And then let's use edge. Oop. And I'll use some edge pieces against edge pieces for the middle, just to give it a bit of extra depth and variance to it. I gotta fix up these spotlights. They look a bit weird. Oh, what? No, I didn't want to roll down there. No, stop. Dang it, game, leave me where I want to be. I think I may change over to the other spotlight type. At least for the on the front here. I'll try and get some proper spotlights on other bits, but for up front here, I think these look best. I could possibly even get some in under here for some other useful lighting. So pop this there and there. Should be able to get that there and there. I could give these a bit of an evil red glow. So that looks kind of pink. Let's just go red. All red. And since I'm doing lighting, let's put these in as well. How many minutes of driving before I break these? Alright, with the front made broader, I do want to broaden the engine a bit. But I've got to think about what I want to put inside before I start armoring up the next bit and adding the spikiness and all that stuff. So, first off, I'll put these extra wheels on. And I need to clear out these bits because I know on the server they're going to cause problems. Alright, let's have a look at this from this side and see... Yeah. Looks a bit weird. I feel like the axles should all be moved back one block. But I'm just going to live with it, because I don't want to do that. That sounds like a lot of work. Anything new in my mail while I walk past it to go charge? Maybe. Dragnon's trash service. Okay. What am I going to find around the place? Oh, I think I might know what that is. Let's recharge, and then we'll go check where I was going to put that dumpster. Yep, as... Well, interesting. I was only expecting one dumpster back here. No, that... Is there anything inside? Nope. Okay, apparently I'm accumulating dumpsters. I was hoping to accumulate plushies, but I guess dumpsters will do. Maybe I can put a green one in the Oscar the Grouch one. Anyway, back to the train. So I'm happy with my plow at the front. I'm happy with my extra axle. I think the next thing to try and sort out is... Oh, that's right. There was an idea that was suggested, which I don't think I'm going to go with, but I do think was good. I kind of liked in some ways. The idea was, instead of having those blast door blocks like I put up front, I place one of my large thrusters up there and have the exhaust coming out the sides sort of thing. Obviously visually only, because we have to fake that. But I think that still feels like too much of an internal thruster for me. So I'd prefer, if I feel like I've got enough thrusters to risk them this way, to put one mounted on each side of this front locomotive for some extra push. Because then I may be able to turn off all the subgrid wheels and just push with the thrusters. But if I'm going to put thrusters on here, I need at least one more battery. Especially if I'm actually planning on using those thrusters for any more than, you know, about 20 seconds. The other thing I was trying to work out for the front here is where I'm going to fit some extra seats, because in the event that we lose most of the rest of the train, which I hope isn't the case, I hope we can at least make it out with a couple of cars plus the 2 locomotives, even if the 2 locomotives are quite damaged. I would like to try and... I would like to believe I can at least make it out with that. I would also like to have seats for people. Oh! Not just seats! I need a survival kit. Survival kit should go on the second one. Should it? Okay, I need to make a decision on this. Survival, let's try and think through some pros and cons. Survival kit up front, less likely to get destroyed, easy for people to respawn at. Survival kit at the back, more room up the front for batteries and the thrusters and seats for people to sit in. Okay. There are fewer wheels on this one, so I've got more room for people to easily get to. Yeah, we're gonna go survival kit on this one. Okay. Did not realize that I smashed up this door at the same time that I removed this one. Oopsie. So I got a nice easy space to get the telehandler in and get another battery in. I should also get an antenna. I really like this base. I just walking up that ramp, grabbing my telehandler, walking over to the nugget, grabbing it. Oop, almost driving off the ramp. This base is... I feel connected to this base in a way that I haven't felt connected to a base in quite some time. Feels really good. Plus, I'm really happy today because building a themed build. I love doing themed builds. Not replica builds, because they're hard. But themed builds. I love a themed build because you can just let your imagination go a little bit nuts. I like a good themed build because it gives you so much aesthetic inspiration in ways that I wouldn't normally build because they'd be too impractical. Oh! Of course I knocked the antenna off. Of course. Okay, let's get some merge blocks. Oh, that's the other thing I should do. Before I make this too hard to get into, let's go around the other side. I should grab some blast door blocks. So my idea is to armor up this thing in a moderate way as I go along, adding bits of blast door block. The reason I'm not using heavy armor is because grids, I know you can weld them up to a moderate extent without grids, but in small grid, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, most of the blocks, or at least the full cubes, don't actually look complete until you add the grids. So if I want the blocks to look finished, then I should really just use blast door blocks. And they provide a decent amount of protection with 5 steel plate versus a single steel plate of a light armor. So should do something to help me at least survive a few more Gatling shots. Not going to probably help much with a rocket, but hopefully I can dodge. No, I'm not going to say that. Because I'm totally not going to dodge a rocket. But hopefully there's a chance I could maybe possibly dodge a rocket, at least with the front locomotive. I'll probably dodge with the front and then make the rear ones get hit instead. 3 batteries. How many batteries do I have left? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. If I add 1 more battery up front, then I add a survival kit to that. Try and add a bunch of seats to both as I add more spiky bits and extra bits of armor and stuff. I've got enough batteries for 3 cars behind to have some batteries on them. So the good thing about this setup is I don't have to have all the batteries in one basket. I can have the batteries in all of the different cars so that they can all power themselves. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab 1 more. 1 more, then gyroscopes. Alright, I'm gonna have to cut off even more of this sidewall. Not gonna have any left by the time I'm done putting bits in here. Which does make a degree of sense, because it is tricky to get things in otherwise. But we got this antenna in, and then I'm happy, because hopefully 2 gyroscopes is enough. Alright, so more blast doors. Here we go. Then I'm gonna have a play around on the roof and see what I think could work up there. Because the kind of Mad Max vehicles usually have some other vehicles slapped onto them in various places. Often, a lot of the ones that I can remember looked like they came from a VW Beetle. I think they used that because of the nice round shape of it. But I guess I could look at what I've got here and whether these orange campers could be something I could slap on somewhere as a bit of a top-mounted place for people to stand in and shoot or something. Oh, actually, I wonder if I could gut one of these and make it have like an internal ladder or something from the second car and stick it on top so that people can go up there from inside. Because I should probably get rid of this helm and move that battery up front and then have a bunch of seats in here so that people can all stay there, hopefully safely-ish. I don't think I can work with the school bus, really. It's a bit too long. I'll give it a go. See what I can do. I have no idea if any of this armor is going to matter in the end. But it makes me feel better now. It also means this whole thing is going to be even more top-heavy. I need to try and get some of this armor down lower. Maybe out to the sides. Oh, maybe I could build something that was a bit of a skirt over the wheels that might allow me to get some lower down, more spread out mass to keep this thing a bit more stable. Let's play around with that idea. Okay. Because then I can stick maybe the thruster mounts to the skirt as well as to the side of the locomotive top part. So if I was going to have a skirt come down, it probably should be out about this far at least. Because I want to keep it well clear of the wheels, but maybe even a block further than that. Actually, I could almost say never. I don't think I have ever built mud guards or any sort of skirt on any of my rovers. Have I? I'm struggling to think of any. And there's a very good reason for that, which is wheels tend to clip into them and it causes problems. But I'm going to try here anyway because I think it will fit the style of this train and in a weird twist of fate might actually make this thing work better because there'll be all this extra mass that I'm adding lower down, which may well make this thing work a bit better. Let's try and grind out that bit. I'm hoping that I can get away with having these blocks here as the support pieces. Oh, actually, that's 5 blocks. Aha, I have an idea. Yes. Yes. Whenever I see 5 blocks in a row that are being used as supports now, I must think of using these, using the trusses. So I think the trusses will look great there. Plus, the trusses having 25 steel plate, 25 interior plate, I think there's a chance they may actually be more robust than light armor. Obviously, there are larger blocks, so they're more likely to get hit, but the whole block itself is less likely to be taken out. I don't know what the differences are in terms of hit points between steel plate and interior plate. I know interior plate have less, but surely it's not 1/25th as much, right? Thought I'd try this with this kind of slopey shape like that and see how it looks and what I can do in terms of adding some spikes, because I'm definitely keen to put maybe beam block halves and then where are they? These ones. The real spiky ones. I scrolled the entire wrong way when I did that. This could work. One downside of building these things, I'm gonna have to build both sides before I can test drive with it. So I feel like having this heavy weight on one side of the wheels is gonna make driving so much worse that I need to feel what it's like with both. Maybe I just do sort of a bit of an outline and test it first. Alright, gonna get rid of the lift now. The rate I'm going with adding blocks and mass to this front locomotive, I'm gonna need the thrusters just so it can push itself. Luckily, it has become daylight while I've been doing this, so my test drive can be in the light. Let's give this a go. At the moment, it looks a bit silly. It's gonna look sillier probably before it's done, but hopefully in a way that kind of looks cool. I need to almost certainly change the way these wheels are steering, because they're not really ideal having both of the front axles fully steer. I'll just want to see how stable or not this is. So far the wheels haven't clipped on them, on the little skirts, so that's good. Yeah, alright. Seems pretty good. Don't actually know if this is any more stable than it was. Because I have added top heavy mass as well as bottom heavy. But, you know, this was never meant to be efficient. I'm not going to put a skirt on all of the carriages. I just wanted to put it on the lead locomotive because it's going to be the one with the thrusters on it. I may put the skirt on the second locomotive. I'm not sure. See how it's looking once I add the various bits to it, the larger chunks to it. that are going to be needed. So, nice. That works. I'm happy with that as a test drive, that this is not going to completely destroy the handling of this train. Which is a very generous thing to call what its steering is. I'm not sure I can really destroy it much more than I have by just making it exist in the first place. I'm going to add some of these in as well, just to keep the slope shape running down the whole length of the skirt. So otherwise it kind of feels very boxy in the middle. And I think having these little cutouts might help that shape a bit. Okay, with the skirt done and the sidewall now back on in a slightly different pattern, I thought I'd thicken up a few of the bracing pieces, make it look a little bit more, make it a little bit stronger looking. I might even do this and make this a little bit darker there. Yeah, I'm liking that. Cool. Now what I was going to do is grab the telehandler, pick up one of the thrusters, and just kind of hold it in place roughly where I think it might work, because then I can have a think about what blocks can be around that and what can't, so that this can hopefully get the detail work that I want on it on there. Just had a thought, should I take the normal thrusters off the Nugget and use them? Since I've got mostly sci-fi thrusters, should I take these normal ones off and stick with sci-fi for this? Maybe I should. Because the sci-fi are more common, do I want to keep them? Or because the sci-fi ones are more common, do I want to get rid of them? I don't know. This is something a little bit different to anything I've done before. Actually putting the block in place to try and see where it's going to look best. It's kind of the scrapyard equivalent of just getting the block out and trying to place it, I suppose. Not that different. But it just feels different because I've got the physical whole solid block there. Now, what position is going to look best on the train? Because I'm going to stick the thrusters on. I figure, what the heck? I've put this much effort into the thing, I may as well make it look extra silly. I think I might have the spot about right here. Let's see, would it look any better up front if I were to put it up here? Gotta imagine the other one in there as well. Just give it the goofiest looking face. About further back? Maybe back here? Maybe this works? Just trying to figure out what's got the best visual balance. I think the back here will kind of work, and it'll allow me to do more stuff up front if I want to. Pair of these thrusters here. Oh, this is gonna be silly. Yep, it's gonna be silly. It's gonna be fun though. All right. Oh yeah, this is probably the quickest way to get on top. No. Poop. Around I go again. Yeah, I'm gonna try and merge it there. I think that's what I want. Oh, it's done now. If it's not what I want, it's not what I've got. Let's have a look. Yeah. I think that's the best spot I could have chosen. This now becomes quite a prominent target, I suppose, that might get shot up. So I need to provide it with some sort of armor and protection, and probably more attachment points than what it currently has, because I think at the moment is attached by 2 blocks. I have an idea. Yeah. This could work. Oh. Oh, that potentially creates a problem though. The door doesn't actually have attachment points there. That is a little annoying. So that's not actually supporting it at all. Okay, so we won't do that. Not a good option. Could do a similar thing with beams though and bring them to here instead of bringing them all the way back. Yeah, that's better. Much better support. Then what else can I do to make this be supported? Could put this on, but what might actually be practically useful as well as functional could be to put a ladder on here, because that'll allow people to get up on the roof. Plus, I think it lends itself well to the Mad Max aesthetic bit, having ladders and stuff on it. First time I've actually done that. Couldn't get my grinder to select it, but I could get the grabby hands to select it, so there's one way to get the drop block out. I am really struggling with what to do on the top here. It's feeling really flat, and I want to change it so that the top of the train isn't so flat. But nothing's really... it's really working like I want it to. Thought I'd try something with the blast door blocks that's not actually going to secure the thruster on any better. And it arguably doesn't really provide much in the way of armor, but I kind of like it for this. I have no idea... though I'm... well, I don't have no idea. I'm pretty sure they'll be safe at the back end of the thruster, because I think it's only the central bit that actually gets damaged by the thrust. Certainly does a good job of breaking up and stopping it looking like a giant pair of eyes or ears. You know what? I'm happy. I'm going to leave it like that. Yeah. I think that's probably all I really need to do to this front bit. Obviously I have to match it to the other side. The only other thing I was contemplating was getting a few more spiky bits up the top here, and then trying to see where I could put some seats on here that would look the part. Also, some normal spotlights somewhere would be nice. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Maybe I could lose this door. I lose the door on the other side. I then put a ladder to get up onto the roof, and then put some seating up on the roof. Oh no, that's annoying. Place the ladder all the way at the back. The skirts get in the way of it. I like the idea of this. Going up a ladder. Then we've got 8 seats up here. The challenge is going to be people actually being able to get into the seats. If I've got them arranged this way. But I think it should be doable. The nice thing about seats like this is it'll kind of look like a bit ramshackle, a bit disorganized. Oops. Having everybody with their feet just dangling over near giant turbines. Let's add a bit of decoration around them. I think they could look okay. Oh cool, I can fit some blast doors down in between the seats as well. And I squeezed some up the front here too. So this actually has given me a row of blast doors that runs almost all the way from the front to the back. So that's a little bit more durability. Plus the seats give me a bit of extra durability on top. I think I'm pretty much done. At least for the top section. And the top and the left are pretty much done. I still have to think about the lights, which I've been talking about. But this is so much closer to what I was imagining than I was expecting my ability to get. What I was going to do was change up this back end though. I'm going to go with the rear facing door. The fun part about that is, I think I might add a front facing door on that locomotive. Possibly. And try and make it almost a fully traversable interior so you can run from one to the other. Though, that's all going to depend on how well I can fit a survival kit at the back end of that. Maybe me dreaming of something that I can't actually do. I could leave this door on this side and have just a door on one side and a ladder on the other. Which is tempting. Oh, hang on. I have an idea. Not sure it's possible. I think this ladder might fall off. Oh, no. Ladder is secure. This works. It's going to be so janky, but so cool. It's going to be so janky. Not that door. Sci-fi sliding door. So. Yes! Door and ladder. Fitting. And obviously, I possibly might need to mess with the existing fake ladder and bring it out a block so it lines up with the proper ladder. But ladder and door. Then what I can do to make it easier to get into the cockpit, put some of these barred windows across. Now I should be able to just run up the skirt across here and straight in. The awesome part about this is I'm making the back end of this thing out of 3 doors. Ooh. Oh, actually, let's remove the door. Let's move it a whole block forward. So I'm going to need to do that so that I can fit the door on the back. There we go, helm. Moved a block forward so that I can still fit through the doors easily. In fact, the door's even easier now that I've moved it. Hop up on the skirt. Walk on in. Oh. Oh. Well, that doesn't work anymore. And I can't fit out this door with the thruster. Oh. My great plan. It's ruined. Because I forgot that I'd put a thruster on the other side. Can I move the whole thruster forward a block? Might need to. Dang it! Okay, so if I move the telehandler up, it should just be able to rest against it or even lock onto it as I detach it. If it's resting there in place, even if the lock breaks when I do the detach, which it sometimes does, I should be able to keep it in place. Not have it fall to the ground. Now we know where the door's going to be. Move this up. Pretty much bang in between the wheels, which is not bad because that means it is going to have a bit closer to the center of mass, a bit more balanced. The thruster lock back on. Does it still look reasonably balanced? Actually, it looks kind of more aggressive now. A little more toy-like because it's not as balanced as it was. I guess I'm still okay with it, I suppose. Maybe it'll look better when I fix these things up. Roll up that door so I've got some inventory space. Stop dropping things. Oh, that lines up better too. That worked out. That works out really well for an entryway. Straight up there, straight in here. Easy. Then I've now created enough room that I can do this. Regular door in the middle. If I had the interior plate. Then I'm using the lessons learned from the previous thing that doors provide good armor. Not 100% sure that we're not overstating that, but still. It did seem to do well. Either way, having multiple ways of accessing the helm is probably not a bad thing. I might even be able to squeeze some decorative bits inside. Close that door. Close that door. Yeah, definitely not fitting any decorative bits in here. Just no room. Maybe a light. A light would probably be good. Awesome. Now, I've just got to match this side to the other side. Add the ladder on to here. And with that, I think I've got my lead locomotive. I've spent more time on it than I'm going to spend on any of the other carriages. But, for those wondering why I'm spending so much time on something that's probably going to die straight away, I plan on driving this thing around, collecting the other carriages. The reason for that is I think it'll be really, really helpful for me to practice driving this thing. So if I do some long distance drives with it, hopefully I'll not end up rolling it as often when we're under stress. Yeah. I'm happy. This is silly. And fun. And exactly what I was after. I will probably replace the light arm panels that are on here just so that it's back to the similar pattern that it was. But I think that still looks enough like the original. I need to add some spotlights, as I've said like 3 times already. Even if I've edited that out. I've said it 3 times. But cool, I'm gonna match and then we'll get on to that. Finally found a good spot for the lights. I reckon just inside the skirts here works pretty well. And what I was also thinking of doing was, because I was thinking about having the access to the second locomotive up through here, go through the door that way round. I realized I don't actually have to have this one this way round. I could flip this so that the back of this is lined up to the back of this car. Because you often see diesel locomotives back to back like that on rail, like on normal railways. So it could actually work really well. Plus, I have an idea to make that work even better, which is not have side doors on this car at all. Just have the internal access way via the front cab. And then that should make it easier for me to fit a survival kit, fit some seats in there so people can have somewhere safe to sit, safer to sit, and do all that. But yeah, I'm going to do that next time because I've kind of run out of time this week to do any more recording because I got a little bit distracted by decorative work on a train that's going to drive a long way and then hopefully not die. But yeah, next time I'll work on the other train. I'm going to go out and do some more scrapping because I feel like I've got the urge to do more because I didn't do any this week. And I'll probably get distracted by some other stuff. So there's all that and plenty more to come. And I will see you then.